Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about a new topic. Our new topic is square root, and in this lesson I will cover properties of square root and the main idea, definition of square root, and then we solve some tasks to understand what is it. And the first one I would like to tell about what's the square root. In math, we have some operations, for example, plus, and for it we have inverse operations like a minus. For division, we have multiply. That's why for squaring a number, we have inverse operation like finding square root of a number. That's called square root. In other words, definition of we can write it like a square equals to b. Therefore, square root of a equals to that's why square root of b is equal to a, where a and b is greater and equal to 0. So, in this lesson, we have objectives or aims that understand the concepts of square root and a radical number. The next one uses the properties of square root to simplify expressions, demonstrate and understand of calculating square root. So we have some rule of square root. The first more important and rule is that if x all real numbers, then x square root of x squared is equal to modulus of x in two cases. The first one if x greater than 0. The next one while x less than 0. In other words, for example, let's take like that. Square root of 9 is equal to plus minus 3 in modulus in absolute value. That is equal to just 3. Also, I want to explain that x squared is equal to 9 and x square root of 9 is equal to x is a different meanings equations. Because in the first equation equal to plus minus 3, the second one is just 3, because from square root we can never get negative number. That's why range of square root from 0 until to plus infinity. Square root of a equals to b. In other words, in our life, it's like square root of problems is tolerance. Okay, you must take them.
Могу точно микрофон подключить.
Agash, не казай там, что кто-то сон пососался, хорошо? Square root of e equals to b. It's like in our world we have problems, and by squaring them, it's like tolerance. To get overcome and get on these problems, we have to receive tolerance and on this type of chapter in our life. And with this Ага, қара, мен ше қазір ана менікі құндылық айтамын, соны не істейсің ғой, давай. Square root of i.
Баста.
Ага, мен қазір құндылық айтамын. Қара, соны қосшы арасына. Square root of a equals to b. In our word, it's like a square root of problems is a tolerance. Why tolerance? Because most of our problems in our life that never get ended, we overcome with tolerance, and it's one of the way to solve these problems. So, did you get it? Let's solve some examples. The first one, as you see, square root of 81. Which number you have to square in to get 81? It's 9 square. Square root of 9 square, we can simplify them and get modulus 9 is just 9. The next example is minus square root of 100 is equal to minus modulus 10, and we get minus 10. Because why minus? Because this minus thing doesn't relate to this square root. That's why behind absolute value we put this minus and get minus 10. This last example is a square root of minus 4 square is equal to square root of 16, and square root of 16 is equal to 4. Let's talk about some properties, our next part of lesson. We have the second main properties while we use multiplies and division. The first property is that if we multiply a and b in square root, we can write them by part. Square root of a multiplied square root of b. For example, this example, square root of 2 multiplied square root of 8 is equal to square root of 16, get us 4. The next example, the next property is just square root of a over square root of b. We can write as form square root of a divided to b. To understand this property, we solve this. I show this example. Square root of 24 over square root of 6, we can write as square root of 24 divided to 6, and it's just square root of 4. This gets us just 2. Our last topic, our last part of lesson, solve some examples to comprehend it and conclude our new topic, square root. The first example is introduce us a new the first property that we can write in one square root. Square root of 3x multiply 12x and it's equal to 36x square. It's equal to square root of 6x square, and we simplify them and get 6x. The next example related to the second property, as I mentioned before. we can write them in one square root. Y and the x over y cube multiply x cube. We simplify them and we get square. 1 divided to square root of y square multiply x square. We simplify them and we get just 1 divided to y, 1 divided to 1 or y multiply x. The next is a special case. As you can see, we have to in the this type of examples shows us that we have to square both sides of equations, and then we get minus x is equal to 361. Multiply both of sides minus 1 and x equal to minus 361. Next example, as we used squaring a number in previous example, we squaring it and they get some numbers. But I explained in rule that we can never get from square root a negative number. That's why this equation undefined. So our fifth example, we squaring both sides. A plus 4 is equal to 16, and the a equal to 12. The last example of our topic, a minus 3 square is equal to 16. If you see this type of equations in some tasks or problems, we have to divide it. We have to we have if you can see this type of equations or tasks and examples, you have to just multiply both of the exponents by 1 over 2, and we get a minus 3 gets us plus minus 4. The first type, n minus 3 is equal to 4 and a equal to 7. The next one, a minus 3 equal to minus 4, a equal to minus 1. Why we have two answers? Because if you put both of them into this bracket and squaring them, we get plus number. Because squaring a negative number and a positive number gives us positive number. And in conclusion, I would like to say that in conclusion, I would like to say that in this lesson I explained square root properties and the definition, why why should get positive number from square root, and solve some tasks and problems related to it, and thank you.